Right now at 6, a CMPD officer on trial facing charges for involuntary manslaughter. The latest from the courtroom as witnesses take the stand. A bomb threat forcing an evacuation at a Charlotte elementary school. We'll share what we know and what investigators are still trying to learn. Plus, a local educator recognized in a big way for teaching with TikTok. We'll introduce you tonight. And with that, we thank you for joining us here at 6. I'm Fred Shropshire.
And I'm Vanessa Rufus. We start tonight with the latest from Mecklenburg County Court.
That is where CMPD officer Philip Barker's trial continued today.
Barker's accused of hitting and killing James Short in 2017 while Barker was speeding to a call. And today we heard more witness testimony.
WCNC Charlotte's Lexi Wilson joins us live from the Mecklenburg County Courthouse. Lexi, what happened in court today?
Well, prosecutors continued to lay out their case today. We heard from 3 witnesses who were all there the night of the incident, and new evidence was also revealed. The trial of Officer Philip Barker, who was accused of involuntary manslaughter, resumed Friday. The day began with prosecutors calling Short's friend, John Jasek, who was with Short the night he was killed. While we were not allowed to film his testimony, I can tell you Jasek said the two started drinking alcohol at a hotel around 4 p.m. the day of the incident. The last he saw Short was outside of a bar in Dilworth, where he said Short was highly intoxicated and escorted out. Hours later, he learned he would never see his friend again. Next on the stand, CMPD officer Stephen Kelly. He was driving behind Officer Barker when Short was hit and killed.
I saw his vehicle swerve abruptly. I saw debris come from around his car.
Prosecutors also giving another perspective from the night of the incident through Kelly's body cam video.
Officer Barker, I could tell, was driving a little bit faster than I was.
Kelly described Barker's manner that night as being concerned. Body cam video shows Barker with medic after the accident. Friday's testimony ended with crime scene investigator Sherry Walton and attorneys showing several scene photos from the night of the incident. And defendants have cross-examined the prosecutor's witnesses, but they have yet to call their own. Now this trial starts back up on Monday. Reporting live at the Mecklenburg County Courthouse for WCNC Charlotte, I'm Lexi Wilson.
Lexi, thanks for bringing those updates to us throughout the week on this case. Turning to this now, bomb threat scare at a local school today, prompting an investigation into who's behind it. Students evacuated from Pinewood Elementary School in South Charlotte, and the school's principal notified parents about what was going on. The school ended up taking students to the Office Depot on South Boulevard for dismissal. We can tell you law enforcement did a sweep of the campus and says it didn't find anything. And the school says anyone who left items behind can get them when classes resume on Monday.
Today marks 3 years since Brooks Sandwich House co-owner Scott Brooks was shot and killed. Brooks ran the sandwich shop along with his brother. 3 years ago today, he was shot and killed when he was opening up the shop for the day. 2 people are charged in his death. Sunday marks the 2nd anniversary of the death of Mount Holly police officer Tyler Herndon. Officer Herndon was killed in the line of duty on December 11, 2020. On Sunday, there will be a memorial service to honor him. It will be at 2 p.m. at the Mount Holly Police Department Memorial Plaza. New bronze statues will be unveiled at the memorial.
A child in eastern North Carolina has died from the flu. Onslow County reporting that death this morning. And this is the 2nd pediatric death in the state this flu season and the 61st death overall. As we've been telling you for weeks now, flu season is hitting harder this year than we've seen in pretty much a decade at this point. Health officials say it is not too late to get that flu shot. 130 public schools across the state will now have expanded access to mental and behavioral health resources. This is through the North Carolina Psychiatry Access Line.
Its experts will give both education and consultation so school administrators and counselors can better support students. It comes at a critical time as state officials say there's been a 50% increase in kids dealing with depression. WCNC Charlotte's Chloe Leshner shares exactly what schools will get with this extra resource.
There are 10 school districts in our area that asked to be a part of this. That includes Cabarrus County Schools, Kannapolis City Schools, and CMS, where nearly 24 schools will have access to these resources. It will help set school counselors up for success, which will trickle down to the students. Dozens of school districts in North Carolina raising their hands when offered help from the state, calling in reinforcements for behavioral and mental health resources.
Schools have definitely expressed the desire to have this kind of support because they are seeing a rise in children having these mental health issues and that are happening at school that are impacting their ability to learn, the ability of school staff to teach.
CMS among those districts. The 22 schools you see here will get extra help from child psychiatry experts. Those experts able to better arm school counselors with the tools they need to help kids who are struggling.
The schools will be able to get the type of advice and guidance they need so that the students can be safe and healthy and the teachers and the staff can focus on teaching.
According to the state, during the pandemic, the rate of children discharged from an emergency department with a behavioral health condition increased 70%. But the majority of those kids aren't getting the help they need, in part because of a shortage of child psychiatrists in the state.
We know that in order for kids to be healthy, both physically, emotionally, and also doing well in school, that they need to have access to the right types of behavioral health supports and at the right time.
State officials tell me more than half of the 100 counties in the state do not have a licensed child psychiatrist. They only have the funding for this program for this school year, but they are hoping that it can continue into the future. At CMS headquarters, Chloe Leshner, WCNC Charlotte.
Thanks, Chloe, for that report. Let's turn our attention to the forecast now and a live look outside. You can see uptown is dark, but it does look pretty clear, courtesy of that view cam. Brad, I hear the sun will eventually come back someday.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, we saw a little bit yesterday, but let's be honest, we haven't seen a lot in the month of December. I mean, most of the days have been mostly cloudy. That's the case tonight as well. So we take a look from our Mr. Sparky Carolina camera network. You just see a lot of clouds out there. Not as much fog, though, as the last couple of nights, though. Over in Dallas, remember, we're up around 1,400 feet. We're seeing some low clouds kind of in the tower there. Temperatures have been cooling down since this afternoon. The high actually made it up to 58, but temperatures have been back down in the upper 40s to low 50s right now. That 58 was the high, but the low was 50, so we haven't seen much movement in the temperatures. Remember, the averages are 56 and 36, so even though the afternoon high was pretty close to our average, we've seen some really warm mornings. Now, the rainfall, not much out there, but I expect a little bit of drizzle to develop later tonight as we're kind of stuck in that northwest flow, so don't be surprised if there's an area of drizzle overnight as temperatures fall into the 40s. Coming up, we're going to talk about the sunshine returning and some cooler temperatures, maybe a little taste of winter coming up in that 10-day forecast.
All right. We'll see in a couple minutes. Thanks, Brad. The Charlotte community is set to gather in honor of Shanquella Robinson. Million Youth March of Charlotte and Salisbury organizing a rally tomorrow for the 25-year-old Charlotte woman whose shocking death captured the attention of the nation. You'll recall she mysteriously died on a trip to Mexico earlier this year with people she considered to be her friends. Tomorrow's rally will begin at 4 p.m. at the Little Rock AME Zion Church in Uptown. Guest speakers are set to share tributes to Robinson. And we've told you before this, Mexico authorities are investigating her case as a homicide. They have issued an arrest warrant for one of the people on the trip at the time. Authorities in Catawba County have identified the victim of a homicide from over the weekend. The sheriff's office says 51-year-old Luis Rodriguez was the man found dead in a wooded area in Newton Saturday afternoon. This was along Lee Klein Road. Officials say they continue to search for a suspect. If you have any information, you can call the Catawba County Sheriff's Office.
A student at Buford High School in Lancaster is facing disciplinary action after a gun was found in their car on school grounds. Officials say the district was searching the car for a different alleged violation of school rules when they found that gun. Lancaster County Sheriff's deputies immediately secured the gun. Officials say no one was threatened. Law enforcement is working to decide if the student should face criminal charges. Investigators continue their search for the suspects who shot 2 electric substations in Moore County, leaving thousands in the dark for days. Law enforcement officials say they are applying for search warrants that would allow them to obtain cell phone records. Those records could then help them figure out who was near the substation Saturday night when the shootings happened. The FBI is also analyzing bullet shell casings recovered at the scene.
StarMed in Charlotte stepping in to help after the Moore County power substation attacks. The organization teamed up with North Rapid Response to provide emergency supplies and care while the power was off most of this week. And they thanked all those that showed up to help out in a serious time of need. Coming up here, a Charlotte teacher getting a special honor for what she's doing on TikTok. We're going to explain what made her one of the Charlotteans of the year.
And more options for those with an itch to travel. The new nonstop flights from American Airlines that'll take to the skies out of Charlotte soon.
And it's normally pretty cloudy in December, but this year it's been ridiculous. Coming up, we'll show you when the sunshine will return, and that's 7-day forecast.
Right now, the stunning amounts being paid to settle sexual harassment claims in some of this country's biggest police departments. Also, it may be fun to become an avatar, but a warning about the trendy new app behind it when we see you here for Nightly News.
American Airlines is resuming some nonstop flights out of Charlotte Douglas in the new year. The airline will once again take passengers directly from Charlotte to Paris or to Frankfurt, Germany. The Paris route last operated in the summer of 2019. The Frankfurt leg was last in service the summer of 2021. The two new routes are part of a nationwide effort from the airline to give travelers more options with travel demand on the rise.
South Carolina is set to get millions of dollars to help get high-speed internet to more people. A nearly $6 million grant from the White House's Internet for All initiative will help the state deploy new networks statewide. There's a 5-year action plan to find parts of the state needing this affordable broadband access the most, and the grant will also help train people with digital skills. Really cool story here. A Charlotte science teacher is celebrating a big honor today.
Charlotte Magazine has named Huntington Farms Elementary School science teacher Nancy Bullard a Charlottean of the Year. Bullard has connected with millions of on TikTok with cool at-home science experiments for kids. WCNC Charlotte's Shamaria Morrison shares how Bullard's TikTok experience is keeping her in the classroom at a time when many are leaving.
Tracy Bullard is a science teacher who found a way to bring science into everyone's living rooms and their kitchens. What started off as a way to teach during the pandemic has now blossomed into 3 million followers on TikTok.
Right now, you can clearly see the water beads, but when I add water, the water beads disappear and the snowflakes become visible.
13, 12, 11, and 34 million. Those are just some of the views on a single video of Bullard's.
I still don't think I'm TikTok famous. I just still tell people I'm just a teacher. I just have a lot of students.
Some would beg to differ. Her classroom is filled with baking soda, acid, microscopes, and hair conditioner. I'm curious about the Tresemme that's up there, the conditioner.
Yep.
Tell me a little bit about it.
Yep, so I have an experiment where you can mix some conditioner and baking soda and it makes this really awesome, great smelling fake snow. And
Bullard's face is on the cover of Charlotte Magazine for her accomplishments, but she says she represents thousands of teachers.
I am on the cover of the magazine. It is my picture and the story is about me, but I don't want the message to get lost. We could put any teacher's face on the front of that magazine and we could write an article about any teacher in this school, in this district, and the message would remain.
While she has millions of students online, she's invaluable to those right here in her classroom.
She encourages people to do something that might make them a little uncomfortable, and that is a great thing for educators.
Bullard said she has no plans to be a full-time content creator.
Our teachers are kind of leaving in droves over the last 2 years. We've seen that. To me, that makes me want to stay here more than ever. I know that what I'm doing is important, and I don't want to be anywhere else in the world. I am meant to be the science lab teacher here.
The 4th-generation North Carolina public school teacher says the tradition is one she does not plan to break.
Thanks for stopping by.
Shamaria Morrison, WCNC Charlotte.
All right, let's turn the page now and give you this. This is a live look at Beach Mountain Ski Resort. Yeah, the resort telling us the winter season is going great so far. That's what they say. The cold weather last month meant that they were able to make a lot of snow. The resort telling us there's some good coverage out there as we speak, and the recent warm temperatures make it even better for new skiers to learn. That would be me. They'll keep making snow once it gets a bit colder next week. Brad, around here, the temperatures don't feel anything like a reminder that we could be getting into a season of snow.
Yeah, trust me, by next weekend, they're going to be completely covered. And you know that cold snap we had in the middle of this November, I should say, really helped them get all that snow on the ground. Now, the weather headlines, it is cooler, but not cold enough for snow just yet. We're seeing cloudy skies, drizzly. I'd say temperatures generally in the low 40s overnight. Cloudy, mostly dry for Saturday, still chilly, but the sunshine, yes, the sun actually will return for Monday and Tuesday. Now, tomorrow's a big day here at the station. We got our magical toy drive. We got in-person deliveries tomorrow. If you want to come out to Belk at the Carolina Place Mall, we'll be there between 9 and 4. Weather will be great. Last year it was really warm. We actually had some severe weather that night moving through the area. This year, temperatures in the 40s and 50s. Plenty of cloud cover out there, so no worries. The rainfall so far has been down in South Carolina, the Midlands of South Carolina, upstate. We've seen some areas of drizzle, but what I'm watching back here west of Asheville, looks like some clusters of showers trying to develop. It's not heavy. It's like it's been the last couple of days, just that light stuff, but that could move through later this evening. So if you got dinner plans tonight, probably coming out of dinner, maybe going to see a movie or show, coming out of there is when you're going to probably see a few sprinkles. Tomorrow morning, again, lots of clouds around with temperatures generally in the 50s, in the low 50s at that. We'll be lucky to get up there. Now, Sunday morning, there's the rainfall. That'll move in the first half of the day, starts to exit by late in the day. So Sunday's looking pretty soggy, but then there's the front. You see the clearing, north wind, still chilly, but the sunshine, some of the most widespread sunshine we've seen in quite some time. But what I'm watching is this pattern going into next week. If you love snow and cold, you're always looking for that this time of year. And what's happening is we get an active storm track and a lot of cold air building up in the Arctic. What's interesting, this is North America. We see a big ridge up into Alaska, a ridge over Greenland. And what that does, if you think about cold air, kind of like a blob up there, when you push warm air up there, it forces it south. And a big chunk of this starts to come south next week. So this is not this Monday, it's the following Monday. So think about next weekend into the following week. And the jet stream shows a lot of storms across the middle of the country as well this week. So a very active pattern. It's not quite wintry yet, but it's certainly a colder pattern going into next weekend. And that system that changes everything is right there. This is Tuesday. Maybe severe weather in the middle of the country starts to head towards the Carolinas. On the backside is when we see the cold air start falling in. So the mountains, we showed you Beach Mountain. Next weekend, they're going to get natural snow and cold enough temperatures to make snow, and then cold air for everybody across the country. So the cold air starts out west, slowly moves across the country. So by next weekend, we're looking at below average temperatures, upper 40s likely, and then going into the week before Christmas, we're starting to see more cool air, maybe not frigid, but temperatures likely below average for this time of year, and we'll keep our eyes on the storm track. Maybe, just maybe, we'll see some wintry weather, but nothing right there to really talk about this far out. This weekend, cloudy skies, 50s both days, but rainfall on your Sunday. Here's your Guy Roofing 7-day forecast first. I'll show you the 7-day because you can see temperatures in the 50s through the weekend. Next week, 43 on Wednesday, but the big storm on Thursday, 10 days into the future. Next weekend, we're going to see highs only in the upper 40s and those morning lows back in the 20s. So our first taste of really cold air.
All right, thank you, Brad. Baker Mayfield flipped the script last night in Hollywood, winning for the Rams just days after Carolina cut them. Up next in sports, what the Panthers coach had to say about all this.
So Al Michaels, famously known for his "Do you believe in miracles" call, exclaimed, "Is that possible?" when Baker Mayfield threw the game winner last night in LA. And we were all questioning the reality of what we were seeing. We woke up today and it was not a dream or a nightmare based on your perspective. He was cut by Carolina Monday, one practice for the Rams, and then Baker leads a 98-yard winning drive right at home in Hollywood.
I don't know if you can write it any better than that. Obviously, we'd like to be a little bit more stress-free, but it's a pretty damn good story, I'll be honest with you. So it's special.
It is special for Baker and the Rams. But what about here in Carolina? There are certainly questions that Steve Wilks is answering as he tries to get ready for Seattle.
No, I wasn't surprised. Baker is a good player, and he went out there and performed well. And my focus and mindset is on Seattle.
All right, fellow quarterback carousel participants Sam Darnold and Geno Smith will start against one another Sunday. Kick is at 4:25. It is the end of an era at Charlotte Catholic High School. Football coach Mike Brodowitz tells me he's stepping away after 9 seasons, says he wants to spend more time with family and create new adventures. In those 9 seasons, Brodowitz won 5 state championships. Assistant Matthew Riley will be the new head coach. A World Cup stunner today as Croatia defeats 5-time champion Brazil 4-2 in a quarterfinal shootout. Croatia equalizing the game with a goal in the 117th minute. Croatia will face Argentina in the semifinals. They beat Netherlands in a shootout as well today. Tomorrow's quarterfinal matches are Morocco against Portugal and England versus France. It is back to work for Ron Sanchez and the Charlotte 49ers. The team had a week off before the break. They started the season 7-2 with huge victories over in-state rivals Davidson and App State, doing it all with a core of returning players plus some key newcomers, and clearly it is meshing well.
Times are different. We used to depend on the experienced guys that have had shared experiences together. Now you have to find a way to create those shared experiences, with some adversity during the summer, during the season. The trip to Costa Rica has really helped us there, but I think it's also about having the right people.
Charlotte hosts Detroit Mercy tomorrow at 2, a rare double dip against a non-conference team in the same season. The Niners lost to them at their place last month. Hornets back home tonight hosting the Knicks, looking to avenge an overtime loss earlier this season up in New York. Charlotte's lost 2 games this week. They were both close ones, just like this Knicks game was, just like that foot was to that line. We don't have to go there again.
Oh, boy.
LaMelo missing his 10th straight game tonight. They really hope he can get back soon. But, hey, if you're the Hornets, you're undermanned. But look what Croatia did in that 117th minute today. Anything is possible.
Wild.
Say there's a chance.
I mean, that and Baker, there's a chance.
It's our turn.
Yeah.
3's a charm. All right, thank you.
All right, weather-wise this weekend, be ready for more clouds. That's all I can tell you. More clouds around. Showers, though, on Sunday. There are signs of some sunshine next week. Temperatures will be returning to the 50s most of next week, but a big cool down. That first couple of days of next weekend will be in the 40s. We could see some really chilly air going into Christmas week.
All right. Thank you, Brad, and thank you for joining us. We'll see you back here at 11.
We hope to see you at Carolina Place Mall tomorrow.
Yes.
Magical Toy Drive, folks, 9 to 4. Have a great night.
Download the WCNC app on Roku and Fire TV.